Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the end of September, and I don't remember when the last time I did an update was, but I figured I'd go ahead and get an update going. So far, the tank itself it's hit its groove. It's parameter-wise, alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, phosphates, nitrates are all in the range, and I've been able to maintain them in that range to a point where I've got some really good coral growth going. Let me zoom in. This hammer coral started out with one head a little over a year ago, and I have got at least 10 heads on it. It's doing really well. I'm gonna try something. I got a magnifying glass. Let's see what that does. There we go, and then maybe get a little zoom on that. But yeah, I finally got it dialed in, and colors. The corals have really good colors. They're growing. They're encrusting. Unfortunately, I have picked up some pests. And let me see if I can't zoom in on. Ah, there you go. Aiptasia. Now, Aiptasia is a type of anemone, but it's not the good type. This is the kind that will sting your fish and kill them. It'll sting your corals and kill them. It's just wicked evil. And they are throughout the tank. I've got some that are in the sand. The majority of them are in the rocks. Now I have it's called a Mahano wand. It basically electrocutes them, and I've been using that. A few weeks back I introduced Bergia nudibranchs. The drawback with the Bergia is that it takes a while for their population, for them to reproduce and build up a colony of the Bergia in the rockwork. Once they get population established, then they will go out and start eating the Aiptasia. So I've been told it can take several weeks for the Bergia to mature, and so it's kind of a waiting game. That is a Walt Disney. I apologize, the quality of image on my phone. This is like a 5-year-old phone, so I need to get a new phone if I want to use it for video. But it's encrusting the plug, and has started encrusting onto the rocks around it. And once that happens and it gets a good foothold, a good anchor to that rock, then it'll actually start growing out new branches and coloring up and everything really nice. Oh, there goes the air cleaner. I have some air stones set on a timer, and every hour for like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, it blows air bubbles into the stream of my circulation pump, and that helps with removing some of the chemicals that would normally evaporate out of the water. That helps with the process, the air bubbles. it also is a good way to if there's any tiny particles of food or dirt in the water, it'll attach to the bubbles and it will eventually make its way down the drain and get filtered out. Also, corals have a little bit of like a slime coat, and it's protective for the coral, but over time it needs to replace that slime coat, and so the bubbles will actually attach to that slime coat, and over time the bubbles will lift that slime coat up off of the corals. So we caught that in the video. Couldn't have planned it better. So we got a little Pavona, and then on the plug there is a, I believe it's called a butterscotch Montipora, and it will basically just grow out from the circular disc plug and cover over the rocks. And that is a forest fire digitata, and it's doing really well. You're seeing my par sensor where it's sitting at now in the tank, and it's about midway. Actually it's about 10 inches off the bottom of the tank. It's getting 320 plus minus par. So this coral here, let's zoom in a little bit, is a Voodoo Magic. And even though I'm running color filters on it right now, you're not getting the full benefit of the colors. Let me. There you go. That's actually even better. We don't need the lens or the filters. So that's a Voodoo Magic, and it's encrusted over the plug and onto the rock work, and it's got some really cool polyp extension. I enjoy watching it. And if you notice on the kind of almost to the top left, there's like a branch that's all white. I accidentally bumped that branch, and it broke, but it wasn't enough to fall off. So I'm waiting to see what happens with that, if it'll grow over it or if that'll just be a dead branch. And then right here is a Poto flamethrower. Just trying to remember the name of it. And it's beginning to reach out, encrusting on the plug and reaching out to the rock work around it. So we'll see how that goes. Got my acans going here. Fat and happy. Now these guys, when I got them about 4 months ago, 5 months ago, it was just the 2 acans, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 new heads growing. So that's always fun to spot new growth on your corals. And then I got my little Zoa. The green ones are radioactive dragon eyes, and the orange ones are Fiji Bam Bams. Now this started out as an encrusting Montipora, but it has grown arms. So I don't know if that changes the name. Not sure, but it's grown about maybe 2 centimeters a month. So that's really cool. And then on this rock, let's see if I can see. This is a Fruity Pebbles. And it's got greens and yellows and pinks and purples and reds on it, and it's encrusted. Encrusting is kind of one of the first signs that the coral's growing, so I'm really happy with that. I've got a really nice little. Now when I bought it, it was the store said it was a blue digitata, but I don't know if blue or purple, I don't care, whichever. It's gorgeous watching it, and watching the polyps moving in the water flow is fun. It's doing really well as well. I got these guys. It's completely grown over the entire plug. It was a pretty decent sized plug, and it's now growing onto the rocks. Now those little spikes sticking out off of it, those are actually it's a type of snail called vermitid snail. And instead of having a shell and crawling around, it builds these spikes, or these cylinders or tubes, and coral will grow right up over it. So here's another example growing up and over those tubes. You can see the original frag on the plug, and then you see all those little spikes or tubes. It's grown up over that. So that's pretty cool. And got a couple other corals. Got a Duncan here. He's not too happy at the moment. Earlier he was all the way open. So a lot of these corals, I will mount them to a small rock, and that way then I can place them near the bottom of the tank or on the bottom of the tank, and they're on a pretty solid footing, so I don't have to actually attach them to the rock work inside the tank. So we'll come around here to the front side. We'll back up and give you kind of a full frontal view of the tank. Now I've got this in the middle here is a plate coral, and when they reproduce, it is basically just a real teeny tiny plate coral attached to the mother colony. And over time, when they get big enough, they will actually just break away from the mother colony. The mother colony is, I would say, it's 98% dead. There's a little bit of flesh there, and what that little green line, I think, is the mouth, or part of the mouth that it uses to draw water in to feed. So, but I got about a dozen baby plate corals on there. I'm just waiting for them to mature and pop off. Some more acans. This is a sunset Montipora. And then this guy, I can't wait to see just how it's going to grow. I'm kind of hoping this area right in there, I'm hoping that area will kind of roll up and build like a little cover for the entrance into the rock work. Some more acans, a few little zoas. But yeah, that coral, the Montipora, started out on 2 frag plugs. I've had it for almost 2 years now. And like I said, I've been dialing in the tank so to get the parameters just right to benefit the corals and promote growth. So it's finally hitting its groove. There was a small piece or branch or arm growing out underneath, and it's not getting any light, so I went ahead and snapped it off and broke it into 2 pieces. And so that's what I got on the frag rack here, tiny frag size of the big green. Another ACAM. Beautiful colors on this one. The blues and greens and pinks. That's a happy coral. And I'm not sure what the name is on this guy. It's some sort of spongeode. Started out with just like 1 or 2 tiny branches, and it's just been going nuts. So it's doing well. I'm really happy to see that. And these guys are slow growers for me. They may not be getting enough light or enough flow. Flow is what delivers the food and nutrients that these coral need to grow. These little mushrooms here are doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Some candy canes and some zoas and some more mushrooms. I don't know if I can get a better view of that one. That is a space invader, and he's doing really well. Like Pinky the bear. So you can tell he's encrusted the rocks and is starting to grow some new arms. So another Pavona cactus coral, and this is the back side of that green hammer. Like I said, the last time I counted, it looked like around between 10 and 12 heads on it. So really happy with that. That Pinky the bear. I think it's about time for me to clean the circulation pumps, because the little tentacles on here aren't quite moving as fast as much as they used to. I mean, you can kind of see them waving in the flow, but they need more flow than that to really thrive. And then I got a rock here with some rainbow anemones on them. It's split a little over a month ago, and this is the 3rd time that the main colony has split. And when it splits, there's usually 2 that break off of the main colony, or the main anemone. And I have only been able to get 1 of those 2 from each time it splits. I've only been able to get 1 to survive. Now, I don't know if it doesn't get a mouth, if that's the reason why it's not surviving. The one in the back there and this one both have a mouth. But the last one that died, it did not appear to have a mouth. So just have to keep an eye on it, see what it does in the future. So like I said, I mean, I've got the Aptasia in the tank. I don't know if you can see it there or not, but I've got the Bergia in the tank, and like I said, I'm waiting for them to build up a big enough population to start taking the den out of the Aptasia. I also have in my quarantine this guy, and then this guy, part of his diet is those Aptasia anemones. So he's got about another 30 days. He had some parasites on him. He's clear of the parasites, but I want to go at least 30 days after the parasites are gone, just to make sure he doesn't have a flare-up, because if the parasites are under his skin and I can't see them and I put them in the display tank, those parasites are gonna hop off and jump onto the other fish, and then I've got a whole tank of sick, fish, so parasite infested fish, and I'm not looking to do that. So we'll make sure this guy's good and healthy, and then I'll plop him into the display tank. But I got a sand sifting goby, a little yellow chorus wrasse, and a 6-line wrasse cruising around in there. So, and like I said, this is my quarantine tank. It's a little 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, 50-gallon quarantine tank. So I'm thinking, around November-ish of moving this guy over to the display tank. He eats. He's a pig. I mean, I put food in there and he's up all over it. He is an eating machine. So we'll see. Like I said, I'll keep him in quarantine till November and make sure he's clear of all the parasites, and then we'll move him over. So, and that's about that. Those are the 2 tanks, what I got going on, what I'm working with, and what I'm working on. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll keep you updated.